Hello. Triple H this past Friday went and announced that the WWE Draft is finally going to be back. And I thought, oh, this would make a really good idea for a video. So instead of WWE doing the draft and USA Network and Fox battling it out, I'm just going to draft it how I want it. It could be wrong. I don't really know how you make it wrong. We don't know how it's going to end up. But I am going to do the draft. So let's get into it. So, as you can see, we are here on tiermaker.com, a fantastic place where you can create your own tiers and take part in other people's tier lists. So, I've used this to create both the Raw brand and the SmackDown brand, and we currently have over 80 wrestlers to take part with, and I'm going to go from A to Z with them, and if any of them happen being a tag team, I'll also draft their tag team partner, unless I think they're going to break up. The same's going to go with stables. So, let's start with AJ Styles. AJ, whenever he comes back, because we don't know when he's fully going to come back and when he's fully cleared, I think he's going to stay on Monday Night Raw and potentially be a heel, because he could be a top heel. And with that, I feel his OC friends Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are going to be coming with him. Mainly because ever since AJ was off TV, I think Carl and Luke have been on TV a couple of times, if that. It feels like they're not really being used to their full potential. I mean, they're one of the greatest tag teams in the world. Next, we've got AKIRA TOZAWA, and I'm not going to lie, I couldn't care less where he ends up, because he's going to be enhancement talent wherever he goes. But I also think he will be staying on Monday Night Raw. You need some enhancement talent over there as well. You've got 3 hours to fill. Now we have Alexa Bliss. I don't know with this one. Do you put her on Raw and keep Bray Wyatt separate? Or do you put them on the same show so they can run together? Because if you are doing a draft, that means they are going to take the brand split quite seriously. I think they're both going to be on SmackDown. So I'm going to draft Alexa over to SmackDown, and I'm also going to draft Bray Wyatt, whose picture on WWE.com is still The Fiend, but I think it's finally time to put them together. If not, I mean, what's all this been about, really? Now, ALIYAH. Is ALIYAH now in a tag team? Is she still in a tag team? She was a tag team champion at one point, for some reason. But I think she's an enhancement talent for the women. I'm going to chuck her on SmackDown because I can, I guess. I've got no real reason for it. Now, Angel Garza, or Angel. I think he's either just Angel or just Garza now. Here's another person that we don't see on TV anymore, same as his cousin, Humberto. I don't really care where they end up, because they're just going to be on main event, aren't they, really? So I'm going to add them onto SmackDown because, you know, let's have someone for another team that I do think going to beat, basically. Now I've got Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits. I don't think these guys are going anywhere. I think they're going to stay on Raw. They're a good pull. They are very over. And the tag team division on Raw needs to be really good because it's continuously been quite good. And these guys are at the top of the division, really. So let's find Montez. There he is. Street Profits over on Raw. They could actually have a really good rivalry with the OC when I think about it. Now I'm going to talk about Ashante from Hit Row. This is another team that I do not give a toss about. They haven't done anything good. Seen previous videos where I've said this. None of them are really going to be top stars in the company, but they are going to be great enhancement talent as long as Top Dollar doesn't try and do any dives anymore. I think these could go on to Raw as well as enhancement talent, mainly because we don't have any over there right now. Plus, a rivalry with Street Profits could be really interesting, especially as the gimmicks are slightly the same. So we're going to add Ashante there. We're also going to add B-Fab and Top Dollar. Now we have Asuka. Now, if I had my choice, I would let her go back to Japan, where she could prosper and be one of the biggest stars just by being over there. She could have great matches with Kyrie and Mercedes. But if we're talking here, we don't have anybody on Raw currently. With a certain someone being SmackDown Women's Champion right now, that could be a really interesting rivalry. Yeah, I'm gonna add Asuka to SmackDown. Now we're on to the US Champion, Austin Theory. I don't think any titles are going to change shows. Well, there's only really 4 that can really change where it matters, because the unified ones you could jump across. But I don't think Austin's going to go from Raw. I think they're going to keep Gunther on SmackDown as well. So I'm actually going to not draft Gunther yet. We'll do that in a little bit. Now we're going to talk about Baron Corbin, and I don't think anybody really cares where he ends up. He's not really that good anymore, is he? He's not worth anything in WWE. I think he's very much like The Miz now, where when you're coming into the company or you come up from the NXT, you will fight either Corbin or Miz first. So I don't think them being on the same show is a really good idea. I do you think he is going to be on Raw? I'm going to put him over there. Bayley now. But the big question is, do I move her with damage control or not? Because even though reports are now saying she's not going to be leaving the company, it does look like damage control are completely done. I think they're going to want to split them up just to really put that nail in the coffin, stating that they are done. I think Bayley is going to stay on Raw. Plus, we really need a singles woman on Raw right now. I feel Raw is where Becky Lynch is going to stay as well, which obviously means Rollins will stay because they won't split up the couples. She holds down well in Raw. She's a top star, and Raw definitely needs the top stars, especially with Roman being on SmackDown. So I do think Becky's going to be staying on Raw, which is perfectly fine. And now Bianca Belair. Just like I said before, I don't think any of the titles are going to be swapping shows, especially now Rhea's just won the SmackDown Women's title. She isn't going to be instantly drafted over and then made to swap to the Raw Women's title. So Bianca will hold ground back on Raw. Now we have Big E. And with that, I think the New Day as well, because I don't see Big E having a singles run when he properly returns, mainly to keep him safe, because then you don't have to put him in a tag match every single week. And when all three of them are back together, they'll be able to be the good old New Day we haven't really had for a good while. But I think New Day are going to be a SmackDown team. So we're going to put Big E over there. We're also going to put Kofi, and where's Xavier? There he is. Let's put him over there as well. Bobby Lashley, he's not going from Raw. Raw needs big stars. When there is no top champion there, as far as we know, there could be a top championship coming soon. I think he is a great talent. He always puts on good matches. He needs to be there on Raw to keep people watching, really. Braun Strowman, I'm going to keep him with the Ricochet. I think the work they're doing together is absolutely fantastic at the moment. They gel so well, which is really weird because Braun Strowman hates flippy things. Let's put Braun Strowman and Ricochet over on SmackDown, because I think we're on the path to probably getting new tag teams being made soon. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is blatantly going to be staying on Raw. He's not going to be fighting on SmackDown. I don't think it really matters where he is because he doesn't really fight on either show. He just shows up and then fights on the pay-per-view. I feel like you need him on Raw as well. Roman is a draw, and spoiler alert, I think he might stay on SmackDown, but Brock brings in a lot of eyes. Heel or face, he brings in a lot of money. They know what they've got with Brock. I think he's going to be staying there. Bronson Reed's the same. I think he's staying on Raw. I feel like if Bobby Lashley is being currently built to fight Bronson, it only really makes sense for him to be on the same show. I mean, I don't really like it when we have a draft like 2 weeks before a pay-per-view when matches have already been made, but they're on separate shows. Bronson, I think, will also be on Raw. Now let's talk about Butch. Or Pete Dunne, if you are from the UK and really like wrestling. I feel they're about to separate the Brawling Brutes. I don't think Sheamus really needs them. I don't think the Brawling Brutes really need Sheamus now. It's blatantly proven that Butch and Ridge can definitely go as a tag team on their own. But there is them rumors that Butch will return to his original name of Pete Dunne, which means he could become a solo star as well. And we all know Pete Dunne can go, hence his matches with Tyler Bate, with his matches with Walter in NXT. But I do think they're going to separate. Plus, we need a few more tag teams on Raw. So I'm actually going to put the Brawling Brutes over to Raw minus Sheamus. I'm going to do my first breakup. Boo-hoo. Now we've got Candice LeRae. Wherever she goes, Johnny Gargano's going to go. So I think they're going to go to SmackDown. Good as they are, they haven't really been utilized on Raw. And with a smaller roster on SmackDown, I need to remember that, I feel like they could have more matches. And with some of the people that are already over there, they could have some really great matches, like Johnny Gargano versus Ricochet, for instance. And Candice could actually get some time in the women's division over there, because I feel like they utilize the women better on SmackDown than they do Raw. That's just personally. So I'm going to put Candice over there and Jonathan Gargano. Now we're on to Carmella. And wherever she goes is where Corey Graves will go. And I don't think they're going to be swapping commentary any soon, because I don't think a good partnership would be Kevin Patrick and Wade Barrett. So I think Carmella is going to be staying on Raw. You can go there. And now we have Cedric Alexander. And with that, I'm going to take Shelton because they work so well as a tag team. I really don't know on this one because there's the rumors heading around and there's all the little teases of the Hurt Business getting back together. So really, wherever they go, MVP should go. I'm going to consider that when we get down there. Cedric and Shelton, judging by what I've laid out so far, be really fitting towards Raw. I know they're kind of more enhancement right now. They do get the wins on main event and stuff. We need to fill out that Raw roster a bit. And now it's time to shoosh. It's good old Chad Gable. And I have been debating this one for so long. Do you split up Otis and Chad? Chad has the ability to go on to be a massive solo star right now just because he has got so over in this tag team. And Otis is starting to do the things with Maximum Male Models. So I was thinking maybe you split them up and then Otis has to partner with Maximum Male Models and you could do something really funny there. We all know Otis is a great comedy wrestler. It's a team I also don't want to see split up. I think they deserve so much that I'm going to keep them on Raw, mainly because there's 3 hours to fill. We have to consider that every single time, and they always put in a good match against anybody. Now Charlotte Flair. This is a tough one. I don't think they're going to want to put her on the same show as Becky Lynch. As much as everybody wants them to make amends, I feel like bridges have been burnt now. Now she's got away. We need someone for when she comes back and go up against Rhea again. So I'm going to put her over on SmackDown. The next one is very easy. Cody Rhodes will be staying on Raw. It really doesn't matter where he ends up, but thinking with a ratings perspective, he really needs to be on Raw because he's a huge draw. Let's put him over there. Now we're going to look at Cruz del Toro or the LWO or Legado del Fantasma, whichever way you want to look at them. So I am going to partner up Santos, Zelina, and Whacking Wild with them. Maybe not Rey Mysterio as much as there is the ties there. I think they're doing great work at the moment. Regardless, they are kind of enhancement at the moment. To be honest, when the New Day come back, I'd love to see a heel turn and have the New Day versus them. So I'm going to put them back onto SmackDown when I can find the rest of them. There's Whacking. And Santos starts with S. So that goes there. And Zelina, I think they're all going to stay on SmackDown. Now we have Damage Control, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. This one, like I said before, I think is an obvious trade. I think they're going to separate them from Bayley so Bayley can go and do her thing, even though I don't imagine she's going to be very happy about it. And Dakota and Io are just going to be thrown in as an enhancement talent. As we've put Bayley on Raw, I think we've got to put Damage Control over on SmackDown. There's I moved the wrong person. That is Damian Priest. But there they go. Now for the Judgment Day. These are getting traded. Rhea's SmackDown Women's Champion. It only makes sense for her to be on SmackDown. And I don't think they're going to split her away from Judgment Day anytime soon. Her work with Dom's fantastic. And she's really elevated Damian. And Finn Balor's great. I love Finn Balor. So I think moving them to SmackDown would be really good because then we could potentially get them and the Bloodline down the line as well. There's Finn Balor. There's Dom. And Women's Champion Rhea. Dana Brooke, wherever. NXT, I don't know. How many women have we got on Raw right now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on SmackDown. Right, we're going to put on Raw for that basis. Dexter Lumis. I want him to stay on Raw because I want him to be separated from Johnny Gargano. I really aren't the biggest fan of Dexter Lumis. I never have been personally. He's never really worked for me. The character just goes right through me and I kind of want Johnny to do his own thing without Dexter because I've always felt since the way in NXT it's kind of held Johnny back a little bit. Now we've got Dolph Ziggler. I'm going to move him with Robert Roode, mainly because I think the Dirty Dogs are going to come back and we are just waiting for Bobby to be really healthy, really, and Dolph's a great worker. I think we're going to be putting him on Raw. Reasons? I ain't got them. Now we've got Drew McIntyre. Raw. I think it's about time we separate him and Sheamus. If Drew's not going to turn on Sheamus, there is no point keeping them together. Drew has the ability to become top champion again. He's a main event and upper mid-carder, and he's very reliable. And like I said, Raw really needs them big stars, especially when you got Roman on SmackDown. Yes, I know currently I wouldn't say it's very big star heavy over on SmackDown, but the one thing that has happened since Roman has been champion is a lot of people have been elevated from matches with him. And there is a lot of good matches we could get. I mean, like, if Big E really wants to go, Big E could go with Roman. So I think Drew is going to go to Raw. Edge, he's staying on Raw, isn't he? He's not going anywhere. Separate him and Finn Balor. I do not want to hear any more about this. It's bloody annoying. Elias. Do we put Elias with Boogs, though? Because they seem to be in a thing together. I'm really debating on this one. I do think with how the SmackDown roster's gone so far, though, I think putting Elias on SmackDown might be quite useful. We need more people over there. because it is quite stable heavy and it's going to stay quite stable heavy. Now we've got Emma, so we've got Madcap Moss. I think putting these on Raw makes sense. Like, we need to bolster the women's anyway, and Emma's really good. She's a really, really good wrestler. And Madcap Moss is also there. So we're going to put them over on Raw. Now the Viking Raiders. I think they're going to stay on SmackDown, the Viking Raiders. So we're going to put Eric and Ivar over there. Where is good old Ivar? There he is. And where is Valhalla? It's not Sarah Logan. That's a lie. Imperium time. These are staying on SmackDown, mainly because of things I said earlier about Austin Theory. I don't think any of the titles are really going to be swapping around. I just think there's going to be new contenders. So we're going to put Imperium over on SmackDown. And their work can continue brilliantly. Plus, there is that potential of a Bloodline Imperium feud. And speaking of the Bloodline, we're now there with the Usos. These are all staying on SmackDown. There's no way in God's green earth Fox are going to want to lose the chance of having them. Everyone here has been elevated by Roman, and even if they did split them all apart during the draft, they would still all be big deals. I don't think they'd separate Solo and Roman because of how the story's going, but maybe the Usos. Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I think these might stay on SmackDown, mainly because they don't do anything, and it doesn't feel like anybody really wants them now. So I'm going to keep them on SmackDown. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn now. I think you keep them apart still, but they are tag team champions, and I feel like they'll draft together as well, because I think they're going to run for quite a while and then maybe split up around the Rumble time. So I'm going to put them on Raw because big stars on Raw, really. It does, like I say, it doesn't really matter because they're unified champions. They can jump across shows. LA Knight, I feel like he's going to go to Raw. I don't know which way they're going to lean with LA Knight after this because he's so over organically, and WWE's never really liked that. So maybe they put him on Raw. He's in the 3 hours, just so, like, you know, you get a pop, you get some merch sales, you get a good, yeah! He's going to be put there and kept as a big mid-card guy. Lacey Evans, I think this is another one I don't really care about. But with that, I think I'm going to chuck her on Raw. Liv Morgan, I might have to draft her with Raquel, mainly because I firmly believe they're about to win the women's tag title. I'm not gonna lie, I'd quite like to see a Liv Morgan Bianca feud. I think that'd be really good. Plus, she can just go, can't she? And a lot of the people I've put on Raw can also go. I don't think Raquel's going. I don't think Raquel's going to be drafted. Now for the maximum male models, where have I put Alpha Academy? On Raw, then they're staying on Raw. They are fantastic. As much as they're enhancement talent, they are truly fantastic. Where's Mansoir? There he is. Riddle. I think Riddle's getting drafted to SmackDown. I think they're going to do some big things with Riddle now he's back. Management's hot on him. The fans, it's kind of 50-50. But, like, we could have Riddle facing off against the Judgment Day. Obviously, we're having him face off against Solo at the moment. I don't know why, but I'd kind of like Bray Wyatt and Riddle to go at it. So I'm going to put him over on SmackDown. Mia Yim. Doesn't really matter where she ends up. She's a great wrestler, but she's just kind of there. She had a little good thing with the OC. I think we'll put her on Raw. We'll keep her around the OC because they do some fun things together. Mustafa Ali now, and I don't care. I would rather see him show up in AEW or Impact or Ring of Honor anywhere else because I want to see this guy utilized. Still in the company, isn't he? So I think he might stay on Raw doing his really daft gimmick. Now we have Omos and MVP. This one I think is very interesting, like with what I said about Cedric and Shelton. It could lead to a new style of Hurt Business. I don't know who with. But I also feel like they're going to be drafted to SmackDown. I feel like you want to keep Omos away from Brock. Moving to SmackDown, have another rivalry with Braun Strowman, because, you know, why not? But even Roman. I know it'd be kind of a naff match, but Roman Reigns versus a giant like Omos would be definitely interesting. Now it's Natalya. I think you keep her on SmackDown. That's all I can really say. Nikki Cross, I don't think this is someone who really matters if they get drafted or not because they're not really getting utilized well, are they? So I'm going to keep her over on Raw, mainly because you need more people on Raw than SmackDown. Now Raquel. Raquel's going to stay on SmackDown. I think they're going to be building to her and Rhea Ripley very, very soon. R-Truth, doesn't really matter, but let's put him on Raw. Now Randy Orton. You realize I didn't draft Orton with Riddle, mainly because I feel like it doesn't make sense for RK Bro to get back together as soon as he comes back. Like, you could still have them friends, but if Randy Orton comes back, you know what the story's going to be. They're going to be tagging together for a couple of weeks. Orton's going to turn, there we go, bish, bash, bosh, done. So why don't we keep them apart for a bit? I mean, you could have them meet up in the Rumble or in a Survivor Series match or something. That would be really good. But I also feel like I've said in a previous video, with how Austin Theory's been, it's leading to him versus Orton with the Legend Killer gimmick. So I'm going to put Orton over on Raw. Rey Mysterio, I think he's staying on SmackDown. They're not separating him and Dom anytime soon. Might you just put them on the same show and have them fight forever for a good year or so, and then you draft them apart again. Rick Boogs, don't want to draft him with Elias. I'm going to put him back on Raw because he's a good little lower mid-card talent. Let's just leave him there. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. I think these may go to Raw, mainly to potentially build Ronda versus Becky, even though you're so many years late. Put him over there. Where is Shayna? Seth frickin' Rollins. Becky Lynch is on Raw. Seth Rollins will stay there. He can hold the ground. If the new title does get introduced for the draft, I would not be surprised if Seth Rollins is the first champion or even the second one. Sheamus is going to continue having banger after banger after banger on SmackDown. Keep him and Drew apart. Keep him away from the brawling brutes. Sheamus is still going to be the guy to beat Gunther, so let's just leave him over there. Nakamura. He's coming back, and I don't think he's going to return and then get drafted. So I think he's going to be staying on SmackDown. Shotzi, where did I put Natty? Yeah, let's put them together. Sonya, let's put her on Raw. Tamina, I'm going to put her on Raw. Tegan Nox, where's she been as well? I think you keep her over on SmackDown. Because The Miz now. I think The Miz will move to SmackDown. He's a great mid-carder. He can have some great matches. He's a great enhancement as well for people. And like I said earlier about Corbin, Corbin's like the introductory guy. So is The Miz. So The Miz, I'm going to put over on the blue brand. Now it's Ciampa. I could really piss some of you off and put him away from Johnny Gargano because DIY, but I really want to see DIY versus the Usos. Yeah, I'm going to put Ciampa on SmackDown. And finally, we have Xia Li. Let's put her on, I don't know, Raw. So that's everybody. I know there's Chelsea Green missing, but she on WWE.com was not labeled as a wrestler there. If I got to pick Chelsea Green, I'd put Aware of Sonya. With this, I'm going to see if there's any changes I want to make because I feel like SmackDown is kind of top heavy. I might move the Viking Raiders. I think they could do really good work on Raw. And there's quite a lot of stables I've put over on SmackDown where their tag teams can all compete against each other. I think that's what I would draft. There's not a mass amount of changes, but I don't think there will be a big load of changes. So that is the draft. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to go and make this draft yourself, I will put the link for the list down in the description. If you want to comment and tell me that this is so stupid, you've made a mockery of this, then go ahead and put it in the comments. But don't forget to hit a like and subscribe for more videos by this ugly bugger. And I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.